InChristendomCredent.com, put together by Gabe. Thank you, Gabe. He has updated it, and with all of the speculation that is going on regarding Pope Benedict having left Rome unexpectedly and is beside his brother George's bedside, who is reported to be seriously ill in Regensburg. Now, there's all kinds of prophecy concerning the two popes and one of them leaving Rome, etc. After this, I've already recorded Brother Bagnolo, his speculation, what it all means. But we'll start now with this is what it's truly all about. Brother Bagnolo speculates that Benedict has been a prisoner because he is still the Pope. No, Benedict has been a prisoner of the Vatican because he announced the return of Christ. That is the very thing that the Jesuits in particular, Francis, does not want the world to know, because Francis is complicit in the cover-up. So just scrolling through here are the documents. Vatican III in Christendom Credent, the Vatican inspectors' emails. Now the inspectors hired by Francis, that we call them the thugs from Argentina, who beat Pope Benedict in 2013, the night that they took Sister Maria away, along with Father Giuseppe Giavello and Monsignor Giovanni Rossini, who was in Toronto. The three witnesses, actually there's four witnesses, aside from Benedict, there's four witnesses, the fourth being the Archbishop Georg Ganswein, who is, the private secretary of the jailer. Ganswein swore an oath to the Antichrist never to mention Yahweh or Mr. Marshall to Francis again. In other words, shut your mouth, buddy. So this is the timeline that Gabe has put together, the timeline events throughout March and April 2013. And this is the 11-page apostolic letter. If you have not read it, the link is always in the description box, but I'll leave the link to InChristendomCredent.com, put together by Gabe, in the description box as well. He's done a really good job at collecting the videos, and there's the video where we're actually reading, having first received the finished letter through the email, downloaded it and reading it for the world. And this is what has been censored more than any other information on the planet. Just letting you know, haven't had any media inquiries. No surprises there. But this is what this speculation is truly all about regarding Pope Benedict having left Rome for the first time in 7 years. And a lot of speculation about he won't return. For example, from this site here, the translation here hypothesizes that he will not return to the Vatican. He will spend the rest of his days, once he they're expecting his brother to die. That's the whole. Father Bagnolo has a completely different take on things, but as far as the world is concerned, what they're being told is that George, Pope Benedict's brother, is seriously ill, and Benedict doesn't want to not be there if he's going to die. Apparently he missed his sister's death in 1991, I believe it was. He didn't respond quick enough, and the article just said he will not make the same mistake, so he's preempting, if you like. Now, it's just 2 sites, and Brother Bagnolo, of course, this is his site, Alexis Bagnolo, speculating on this photograph of Benedict here, not looking the greatest, but he is 93 years of age. There's a lot of comments here about his skin and the capillaries of his face being quite normal for somebody of his age, etc. Others are speculating that he is being bitten, or even suggested that he's being drugged, and hence, again, Brother Bagnolo speculates that this is why the doctor is travelling with him as well as one of the gendarmes. So this is what it's all about. It's about In Christum Credent, the apostolic letter, and the announcement that Pope Benedict made for the world to learn about the return of the Christ. And yeah, just I'll leave it at that. I've already recorded Brother Bagnolo and what he has to say, not the entire interview, but enough. I'll leave the links underneath this video as well. Okay, later, Gators.
Welcome to Ordo Militaris Radio TV once again. We're again back with Brother Alexis Bagnolo. We are doing another report on Pope Benedict XVI and how the media is controlling the narrative on why he is in Regensburg. Welcome, Brother Alexis.
Glad to be back on Ordo Militaris Radio TV and talk about this important topic, and you get a view of it you're not going to find anywhere else.
Okay, lots changed since a few minutes ago from the radio program. What do we have?
Okay, so we know that the German government has 2 snipers on the roof and part of secret police outside the seminary, but the diocese of Regensburg has put out an official statement of why it's there. I want to go through this in using an English translation and deconstruct it. Okay, so this is how it begins. It's a surprising bedside visit. Pope Emeritus Benedict XVI flew to Rome from Bavaria this morning to be with his seriously ill 96-year-old brother. It might be the last time the 2 brothers, George and Joseph Ratzinger, see each other in this world. Okay, so this is complete fakery, because Bild Zeitung, German newspaper, said that as soon as he landed, he and his brother said Mass together. And today, for the Feast of the Sacred Heart, they said High Mass together. And let me tell you, if you know anything about High Mass, it is a long ceremony. You can't do this from your deathbed. So Georg is not ready to drop off dead. And but this visit is surprising, because in 7 years, Pope Benedict has never gotten permission to leave the Vatican except for a short trip. All of a sudden now, without any announcements, with no one knowing about it, he's in Germany. And the announcement is made by the time the plane that took him there has already come back to Rome. So there is something up here, and the narrative just doesn't fit the facts. The next section is, the Diocese of Regensburg asks the public to leave this deeply personal encounter in their private setting. It is a heartfelt wish of the 2 elderly brothers and does not tolerate photos, public appearances, or meetings beyond this. Please understand. That is probably the most cleverly pieced of a BS that you could possibly read. It doesn't matter how old you are or how sick you are. If someone takes your photo, it's not going to cause you to drop dead or get nervous. Pope Benedict has been a public person for more than 60 years. I'm sure anyone taking his photo or asking him a few questions isn't going to cause him to have a heart attack or relapse. And certainly if his brother's sick, he has some time in the day to say something to the press. So this is pretty clear that this was put out by the Vatican, and they're trying to keep him from talking. And if they fear he's going to talk, I think it can only be because if he talks in a situation where he's not controlled, we're going to find out he never resigned the papacy and that he's been a prisoner for 7 years, and they've been faking it for 7 years, keeping him under a lock and key. So this statement is just totally, absolutely irrational that he's not going to give any interviews or have even photos. I think.
I'd just like to say here that he says it's because you're going to find out that Pope Benedict did not resign. No, that's not it at all. It's the fact that Benedict announced to the world in his apostolic letter, in Christendom Credent, who the Christ is, and of course that's Yahweh-Jesus, Brian Leonard, Golightly-Marshall. You'll find the link to inchristendomcredent.com in the description box of this video. So we'll continue listening to Brother Bognolo, but that is the reason, not what he speculates.
If he's in some kind of less than conscious state, and if he's really just being used as a puppet. All people who want to express their sympathy are cordially invited to say a silent prayer for the two brothers. So they don't even want anyone with an excuse coming to the seminary and seeing what Benedict's condition really is. So I think this is complete narrative control. This is a complete cover-up. Something else is really up here. The next section says the 93-year-old Pope Emeritus landed in Munich on Thursday, June 18th, around 11:45 a.m. Bishop Rudolf Wolderholzer warmly welcomed him there and accompanied him on his way to Regensburg. Pope Emeritus lives in the seminary of the Diocese of Regensburg. The date of his return journey has not been determined. Benedict travels with his secretary, Archbishop Georg Ganswein. They want you to know that. His doctor, his nurse, and a religious. The Pope Emeritus made the decision to visit his brother.
Just interjecting again, it was Georg Ganswein, who was still the secretary for Benedict at the time that we were communicating. We have emails from Ganswein, and it was Ganswein that confirmed to us on March 28th, 2013, that Francis had rejected the idea of an Australian accented Christ, and that's when he officially became the Antichrist. He was informed by Benedict on March 23rd, 2013. We gave him 5 days to get used to the idea, and it was Archbishop Georg Ganswein that personally told us, after I had asked Father Giuseppe, what was going on. So he phoned Ganswein, and that's what the Archbishop told Giuseppe. So it was all downhill from that moment on, of course, because you're confronted with the Antichrist. And so these are the events that took place in 2013, and certainly Benedict got the video out to us. It was Father Giuseppe who got it out to us, that he described himself as a prisoner in the Vatican like Pius IX, but not for the reasons but that Brother Bognolo is speculating.
Statement of the Diocese of Regensburg is really trying to hide something here, because all the other public statements said is the Vice Commandant of the Vatican Police is there with him. And they're hiding that in this statement because they obviously know what it means. It means that Pope Benedict's a prisoner and he's not free at all. Because if he is a retired Pope, the Vatican policemen should not be present, okay? Vatican policemen are not present in all the dioceses of the world and following bishops and cardinals around the world. Why is that policeman there? It's obviously for control and to represent perhaps the Vatican to the German government, so they keep the Pope a prisoner and out of the public view. So this is all very concerning. It's all very strange. It's highly unusual. It's the talk of Rome. It's an absolute shock to all the Vatican experts that the Pope should just disappear overnight and all of a sudden arrive somewhere else without anyone knowing about it. So there is something really strange going on, and I think we have to be very concerned about the Pope. This statement from the diocese is just complete bunk. It doesn't hold water at all. It's obviously crafted to make it appear to be benign when it's not benign because the facts just don't fit this description at all. His brother isn't on a deathbed, okay? There is a policeman in his presence. He is staying in a building with sniper protection and secret police outside, and he's being prevented from meeting with the press or with the public or even other members of the clergy. I don't think you can describe a household arrest any more clearly than that.
Yes.